Hello, in this video we're going to describe Medicine Part 7, Soul Material Repair. So, firstly to mention, with soul creation, inside the chamber, that it is sphere-shaped, for a male, the process is clockwise of knitting. But for a female, the process is anti-clockwise for soul knitting when a soul is created. Right, so we're going to look at soul material repair. And this is a kind of first aid for a very extreme emergency. So in the start of creation, God, remember, would go outside, it's mentioned in previous videos, would go outside the chamber where he was created and explore and experiment with many different materials. And in one particular instance, he came across trilithium and catalyst. And these two materials mixed together are explosive. So in soul form and zero gravity, out in vacuum, God was controlling a wormhole rod and combine those two materials, which are explosive. That's what the sun actually uses for fuel, and it caused God, because he didn't have any protection, it burned him quite severely, and he had to go back into the chamber, severely burned. Another time he got covered in trilithium, which is also a very bad thing. So he had to go back into his refilling chamber, and he refilled his soul with a new body and consumed mana. And then over time, his soul was healed from it, as well as his body. So if the soul is damaged, mana biscuit is what heals it, but you have to be in body in order to consume it. Alright, so that's soul material repair. There are other times where God got injured in soul form and had to get healed that way. Mana biscuit will heal you instantly of anything. So the effect of mana biscuit is, if you consume it, you'll find all your moles and lesions and freckles will vanish. If you've got fillings in your teeth, they fall out. The teeth are refilled. If you've got an arm missing, it'll start to grow a new one. If you're blind, you'll suddenly be able to see, and your eyes will become perfect. So, in order to protect the soul, they're not on earth. They're kept in another dimension, which we call the stasis dimension. So, and the soul, when it's created, does not have canine teeth. So this came up in the first history. Angels and God in heaven enjoy eating meat, and it was found that wolves could eat meat easier than our kind, which did not have canine teeth. So the canine teeth were an addition to the soul chassis. In order to accomplish this, it's with the help of the Holy Spirit. So the growing of canine teeth is different to the original chassis. So when you see your original body, chassis, in the stasis dimension, you'll find that there's no canine teeth. They're all flayed. So we have these canine teeth. We have two sets. Experiments were done with all the teeth being canine teeth, and it was agreed that 2 sets, top and bottom of the jaw, were the best combination for consuming food. God has 4 sets. Another sign of interdimensional soul protection is the female hermaphrodite and male with vagina chassis or bodies. So people who are born female, male or female hermaphrodite, or male with vagina, what's happened there is in a previous history, in most cases, they've requested to be in that chassis. So what happens is they had a chassis made up in heaven, and they were born with that kind of body. So it's a deliberate thing that a person is requested in heaven, in between histories, which is difficult to explain, to break to people that there's been more than one history, and that everyone's been to heaven. That's good, not the brigands. And they've been able to make a choice of what kind of chassis that they wanted to be in this history. Everyone's soul and body is in heaven in a stasis dimension, inside a chamber, and there's air in the chamber, and you just stand there. Through wormhole telepathy, connected through the hub, through the Holy Spirit, to the original chassis, is connected to a non-sentient baby chassis when you're born. So it's a particular kind of baby chassis that is born, that is non-sentient, and is controlled by wormhole telepathy. And throughout your life, in that body, you still have an original chassis in the stasis dimension. Now we do this to protect the soul. So in the first history, it was quite violent. Humankind was wiped out, and the souls were attached to the body. We did not have a separation or interdimensional soul protection back then. So when Satan and his followers attacked people and killed them, the person's body would die, and then the soul would still be there. And of course it's very fragile, and they knew this, and they just kept attacking the body while the soul was still attached, and killed the soul as well as the body. So with time travel discovered in the first history branch, a team went back in time and fixed that and rescued everyone. And so that's why we have multiple histories. So that explains why some people are female, hermaphrodite, or male with vagina. And it is their decision to come to Earth in those chassis. There's nothing wrong with it. The canine teeth is for everyone, and that's done through the Holy Spirit. But the question is, how big is your body supposed to be? There's the question. So, discuss mana. You'd have to look at the video on wormholes and what materials they can emit that I've made in order to understand where mana comes from. It's something that comes from a wormhole, and it's a type of biscuit. So soul material is similar on the spectrum of materials that can be emitted from a wormhole to mana. So soul material and mana are very similar. They're in the same end of the spectrum of different materials that can be emitted. With mana, God used to, and still does, make drinking stations underground, and they featured mana biscuit broken up and put inside, just placed inside a type of trough or hole which was filled with water, and it had a wormhole above it that emitted water that would trickle into it. And the angels used to drink that water. It has a bitter taste when there's mana present in there.